Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome back to FAF. My name is Endrani, and I am your host. So, today we're gonna go and take a look at yet another map that have unpronounceable name, because Neroxy's map-generated names are horrible. Just look at this one. It's Neroxy's map generated on 1.8.5 JBFJMUZ something something. So, well, that is not something I want to pronounce for the whole game, so we're just gonna call it a random map. Okay? And honestly, it's not a bad map. There is actually some reclaim to be taken, and it's a lot of it. Like 60,000 mass, so like nearly 10k per player, even more, like 12k per player, so yeah. Everyone, no, holy fuck, I am so bad at math, there is not... Make it 6k per player, okay? I forgot that there are actually two teams in one game, so yeah. Anyway, as you can see, there is a lot of reclaim to be taken, some of it actually hidden on the plateau, so we will see some T1 drops most likely. There are also some little civilians to be taken, so yeah. There is a lot of mass to actually go and propel forward your early economy. When it comes to the choke points, there is a few here and there, meaning that we will most likely see the game on the south side come to a little bit of a standstill. But on the other hand, on the north side, just look at this beautiful big open area. Not to mention, there are actually mexes and reclaim that we can fight for, meaning we should go and see some action happening in here. But never mind the map, let's go and see who are the players, and starting from the top team, we have Mr. FTX Commando playing UEF in Innocent White. This man, if he's not playing UEF, he must be ill, so UEF it is. Glad to see you in a good health, Mr. Commando. Then, on the support slot for Mr. FTX Commando, it is gonna be Terrari, playing Aeon in rotten orange color. God damn it, I hate this faction, I hate Aeon. But what can I say, I'm just too bad to keep on playing them. Then, on the medal slot, we have Robogir playing Aeon in beautiful bloody red, who's apparently lagging according to the chat, so... Kaboom, baby, we have the first selection of the game, and whoa! Did this man got mercy sniped, or what was it? It seems like Mr. Tagada will be taking over his base, and Tagada playing beautiful Cybran in royal blue will have to play on two bases from the very beginning of the game. So well, I have to say, not a good start for the top team. Losing the first player to a pink snipe is not something you wanna go and see and happen, but well, nevertheless, the last but not least player on the top team, it is gonna be Mr. Resinu, playing UEF in beautiful lime color. His opponent on the other side of the map, it is gonna be Mr. Farmsletier, playing beautiful UEF ACU in UEF blue. Then on the support slot for him, it is gonna be Daxton the Bold, also known as No One Cares, or simply Nock, playing Cybran in wild color. Then, on the middle slot, it is gonna be Jagged Appliance, our beloved FAF streamer, playing Aeon in nothing but a burgundy red color. Then, on the air slot, it is gonna be Bullied Noob, or whatever you go and call him. Just call him Bully, playing UEF in beautiful grassy green. And last but not least, for the bottom team, it is gonna be Macro Noob, playing Aeon in Xanadu Grey. So, do we have anything funny happening? Yes, we have some fun happening. We have the T1 bomber called the Amazing Rando beelining for the enemy base belonging to Tagada. There are interceptors in the vicinity. But are they gonna go? No, they're actually busy fighting against the enemy interceptors, and kaboom! Here comes the first victim of the bomber. The other bomb is not gonna get dropped, and instead it is gonna go for this little engineers, and kaboom, baby! 3 of them are down. Is the bomb gonna get dropped? Yep, the bomb is dropped, and let's see, one more engineer is dead, and the pigeons are also heavily damaged. So 5 engineers have fallen down to the single T1 bomber coming up from Mr. Jogged. But what else is happening? It seems like when we look at the T1 spam happening on the bottom part of the map, Mr. Wheelie is actually a little bit ahead when it comes to having the unit count on the middle. But when it comes to the bottom part, it seems like he's barely even... No, never mind. It seems like Mr. Rezi is taking a little bit of a bad fight, meaning he has to go and retreat and actually go and concede the reclaim fields to Mr. Wheelie. On the other hand, Mr. Rezi is already halfway done with his gun upgrade, meaning that if Wheelie is actually not paying attention, he might be caught off guard, and that would be pretty bad. Thankfully, Farms is only here to go and grab some from the reclaim. But hate to see it. The UEF ACU reclaiming UEF civilian buildings? Oh well, you're gonna be Marshal Court for that, mister. You are gonna be Marshal Court. On the other hand, on the top position we can see as both ACUs belonging to Macro and FTX Commando are actually grabbing the gun upgrades, but considering that Macro is playing Aeon, his ACU is gonna be way better at dealing the pain. After all, the 5 range advantage is gonna be basically devastating if you cannot go and actually properly play around it. But thankfully, Mr. FTX recognizes the threat and gets the Nano Repair upgrade on his own ACU, meaning that he can actually take a little bit more damage than normally, which is a great choice, even more so, considering that Mr. Bully is also getting the gun upgrade, meaning it's gonna be 2 gun ACUs versus a single Rambo boy from FTX Commando. Even more so as Mr. Terrari is just walking around, spacing out, God knows what he's thinking, but well, he's not really that useful. Now when we go and look at the bottom part of the map, it seems like Mr. Rezi is gonna go for the push with his gun upgraded ACU, but it might become a little bit problematic because he's losing the plateau. We can see that the army belonging to Farmslet here is actually considerably bigger than Mr. Rezi. And we can see them actually starting to duke it out as both strikers are actually gonna go and fight it off. Although it seems like Mr. Farmslet is gonna go and win this little engagement, even more so when you see 2 strikers without any micro just dying just like that. Hate to see it, but well, Mr. Farms taking the advantage. Oh my fucking goodness, a Jester snipe. Mr. Nock is actually coming out with a Jester snipe. We can see 5 Jester coming out. Tagada is gonna go try to go and finish them off one after another. The first Jester is down, the other one is actually gonna go and stay alive on just 14 HP, meaning that the air snipe is actually still happening. Or never mind, after being berated on the chat a little bit by the opposing team, and by his own teammates, like Mr. Farmslet, yeah, Mr. Nock is gonna say, no, I'm not gonna be a cunt, and I'm gonna move my Jesters somewhere else. Rezi, be glad, you're gonna leave for just another few more minutes. But with no AA in the mix from Mr. Resistance, it seems like he's gonna take a lot of damage when it comes to this big land army. As such, Mr. Farmslet is gonna be capable of taking over control over this position here. Although, considering there is a single T1 PD here, and nope, Mr. Farmslet will actually have T1 RT in the mix, meaning he can go and just roll over this position whenever he wants. It is gonna go and take a little bit of a micro, but still, he should be capable of grabbing this position just fine. The tanks from Resistance are gonna go and come back, but unfortunately, there is not enough of them. Although if they actually manage to go and hide and use the factories as basically shields, they may still go and buy some more time. Now, coming back to what is happening on the top part of the map, we can see that FX Commando actually took a little bit more damage than Macronoob, which is just understandable considering that he's dealing with the gun upgraded Aeon ACU, and also there is Bully coming in here to go and support him. Not only the gun upgrade, but also the nano acquired, meaning that FX Commando will need support here and now from Mr. Terrari. He have already the first gun upgrade done, the speed one, and now he's getting the range upgrade, meaning that he should actually become a little bit more useful to Mr. FX Commando than he was previously, but the problem lies in the fact that the two gun combos are already pushing in, and as such the T1 PDs are not gonna be enough to go and stop them. The T1 tanks are also not gonna prove to be useful. As such, FX Commando will have to go and concede all of this position here. The map control here will simply belong to the bottom team. Coming back to the south, we have even more action. Thankfully, Tagada is here with his own Guncom ACU to go and reinforce the position belonging to resistance. Meaning that the south position should be fine for a little while longer. We can see both Resi and Farmslet exchanging fire, but here comes the Daxton the Bold ACU, the gun upgrade. The shots are being fired and it seems like Mr. Resi is the one who will have to go and duck down right now. A lot of interceptors in the air that we can see in the sky. Are they gonna be useful or not? Let's see if there is T3 air or not. No, Mr. Terrari, not yet done with it. Never mind, it seems like his little gunships are in here to go and try to snipe the enemy ACU belonging to Macronoob. But unfortunately, a few MAA in the mix are dealing damage to them, meaning they're gonna get shot down, not to mention interceptors from Macronoob coming here to intercept the enemy air force. The gunships are no more. A little airfight is gonna go and break out, as we can see interceptors intertwining in the air, but it seems like Mr. Terrari is not gonna win this airfight. There is just way too many interceptors from Mr. Macronoob, meaning that the air control belongs to the south team. And as such, the T2 gunship snipe is no more. It was nothing more but a waste of mass. But the top team is still saying no, not yet, as we can see both FX Commando and Terrari still pushing in, trying to go and deal some damage to the AC belonging to Bulino, but considering he have the nano upgrade, it is not gonna be enough. FX Commando already hitting the guerrilla tactics. I repeat, guerrilla tactics are on the field, as we can see the Titans slowly but surely getting to the front line, one after another. You hate to see it as an enemy player. After all, Titans are a little bit overpowered, if you ask me. Oh no. They have been met with a single Oblivion cannon. Hate to see it, Mr. FTX, but you will have to go and micro your Titans just a little bit better than this. Anyway, when it comes to the T3 air rush, it seems like Mr. Bully is already nearly done with his T3 Pigeon. Terrari only now on 70% upgrade of his T3 HQ. Meanwhile, Tagada only starting the upgrade right now. Oh boy, this is looking quite dicey, as it seems like Mr. Resistance is totally losing the control over the plateau in the south. Not only he cannot go and stop the big army belonging to Mr. Farmslet here, but also Daxton the Bold is still harassing him with the gunships. The single renegade already 400, 500 mass killed on it. So not only it already paid off, it is still dealing damage, so yep, it's gonna be a big pain in the arse for Mr. Resi, but thankfully Mr. Tagada is gonna react with his own swift winds. Are they gonna kill the gunship or not? They are just loitering around in the vicinity. As more and more of them are coming here, but Tagada saying he was boozy, but yep, a single swift one is gonna go and finish off the pesky gunship, which already managed to go and kill 1k mass. Oh boy, that was a lot of damage dealt. Now let's go and take a look as Mr. Resistance is actually making another push. But he's playing with fire. His ACU have only half the HP left. Meanwhile, Mr. Wheelie is dropping lower and lower, only 900 HP left, 800, 200, 400, 500, as it seems 2 more shots, and kaboom, baby! Kaboom! We have the first proper ejection of the game, as Mr. Farmsletje dies to Resin Noob. And it seems like Daxton the Bold, Mr. Nock is gonna be the other one, and kaboom, baby! Mr. No One Cares is the second person to get ejected. GG well played to Mr. Resistance for making the good choice of going full on Rambocom and killing 2 of his adversaries. Now let's see what Mr. Jack can actually go and do concerning his in 1v2 situation against Mr. Tagada and Resinoob. He have the Strat Bomber here ready to go and rumble. But how is he gonna go and use it? The enemy team have only single ASF, meanwhile Jack already have 6 of them, make it 7, meaning he can go and take the Strat Bomber and go for a really hell of a ride. Although it seems right now he's actually just trying to go and get gripes on what kind of bases he actually managed to get from his little friends. As after all, it's always really hard to actually go and notice what the hell were your allies cooking up in their bases when you actually receive them. The Strat Bomber is gonna go and drop the first bomb on Mr. Resistance, but the flak fire coming... That's not how it works. That's not how it works, the Resistance. You didn't kill a single ASF. I mean, that was a good try. That was a good try, but that Control K, that's not it, fam, that's not it. Although thankfully, it seems like this Strat Bomber is gonna deal basically no damage at all. It's only gonna go and manage to kill a single T2 HQ belonging to Mr. Tagada. But Rezi, that's not how you do it. I mean, it's a good try, but yeah, it didn't work out. Coming back to the top team, I mean the top part of the map, it seems like the guerrilla tactics are working out just fine for Mr. FTX Commando for now, as he can still go and push back the enemy forces belonging to Mr. Bully and Macronoob, as his titans are dealing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, they won't manage to go and grab a few kills on the enemy sniper bots, because the ACUs belonging to Macronoob and Bully are here to go and overcharge them. It was still not such a bad fight taken on him, considering they managed to go and kill off a bunch of Harbingers and a bunch of T2 shields. But nevertheless, they will have to go and fall back and regroup, because Titans in such a small amount are not enough to go and fight back against 2 enemy ACUs. But I have to say, you hate to see it. You just hate to see it when you have enemy T3 sniper bots creep upon you when you're playing UEF. It's just a horrible thing. You have nothing to go and deal with them. And here comes the Whalers from Mr. Jack the Appliance. They're gonna go and snap the AC belonging to Terra. He's dropping lower and lower. Only take 10k HP left on his ACU. Dropping lower and lower as Mr. FTX Commander is actually just gonna go in. He knows that he's already dead, because the Air Force belonging to the top team is nowhere enough to contest the airfight. I repeat, it is nowhere enough to contest the airfight, and as such, Terran is gonna get sniped by the Whalers as his ACU is gonna go and explode in a beautiful nuclear explosion. But that's not the last guy who's gonna die, because right now Mr. FTX Commando is gonna be the second one to get ejected, meaning that Mr. Tagada is the only player left alive. And we can see some salt happening on the chat, as Mr. FTX Commando is really salty about getting the monkey slots. Again and again. Hate to see it, mister, but it seems like the end fight is gonna ensure, as Mr. Jack the Plan is gonna go and try to catch the enemy ASF out of position. We can see him trying to go and catch the ASF belonging to Mr. Tagada. He is gonna go and kill off a few of the enemy interceptors, but he wants to go and grab the kills on the enemy ASF The ASF have been caught. Mr. Tagada is still trying to go and run away, but it is not gonna happen. As the ASF belonging to Mr. Jacked Up Planes are gonna go and mop up every single air unit belonging to Mr. Tagada. Good job, Mr. Jacked, good job. But right now, it is gonna be 3 against 1, but it seems like Mr. Tagada doesn't care. He's gonna make a beautiful push on the bottom part, where we can see his big Harbinger army pushing in versus enemy units. The enemy army composition is nothing but a T1 and T2 units, meaning that the enemy Harbingers are gonna be capable of cleaning out this position just easy, with no sweat breaking. And with that, they can actually go and make a push for the remnants of the base belonging to Mr. Farmsletiev, who's already dead, and as such, it is Mr. Jacked who's commanding this position here. He is trying to get a few Klinghammers online and a few triads. But the army from Tagada gives no shits. It is gonna march forward, as he is a man on a mission to win the game. The highest rated global player that we actually care about versus free FAF pros. How will this game end up? Because for now we can see that Tagada is not pulling any punches, and he's gonna go and mow down the base that once belonged to Mr. Farmsletiev. Mr. FTX Commando still salty on the chat, considering that he have to go and hear Terrari say that there was nothing I could do. I could only help you with my ACU. It was 3 versus 1 on the air slot. No! It was lost from the very beginning. No! But FTX is not gonna get any of that shit. He knows the deal, and he is gonna say it how it is. He's a true burger in a sense. But never mind, it seems like while Tagada is pushing the bottom part, Mr. Macronoob together with Bully are not gonna go and stop. We can see Percival's trying to go and defend versus the gun ACU belonging to Mr. Macronoob and a few Harbingers. It seems like the Percivals are gonna be enough to go and buy some time. Although, considering that the sniper bots on the field for Mr. Macro, I don't see the base belonging to Tagada standing for much longer. We can see some triads firing away in the background, as even more and more engineers are trying to go and get the T2PDs up and running. But here comes the T3 gunships from Mr. Bulino. They're gonna go and mob down all of the T2 gun PDs. The triads are gonna be no more, the T2 engineers are dead, and it seems like the base that once belonged to Mr. FTX Commando is also gonna get mowed down mercilessly by the enemy ACUs and a few gunships, meaning that it is gonna be nothing else but a base trade happening. The bottom team is gonna lose the base that once belonged to Mr. Farmsletiev. Meanwhile, the top team is gonna go and lose the base that once belonged to FTX Commando. Hate to see it, as the bros are both gonna lose their bases, huh? Not to mention, both of them got the monkey slots, so yeah. The experimental unit for Mr. Jacked Up Planes have been finished. The Galactic Colossus, known as Panda Cuddles, is gonna go and try to save the base that once belonged to Mr. No One Cares. As Mr. Tagada, like I said, he's merciless. He's a man on a mission. He have a duty to go and carry this game. Although it seems like a few Cerberus turrets are gonna be just enough to go and make sure that the enemy units, the Harbingers, will have to go and fall back. Even more so, as Mr. Tagada, did he spot the... Yep, he have spotted the Galactic Colossus, and instead he's gonna go and fall back and regroup. The airfight is happening, and Mr. Tagada actually managed to go and coat the enemy ASF out of position, as Mr. Bully wasn't paying any attention, and as such the airfight is gonna be a clean sweep for Mr. Tagada. The top team actually managing to win the air back after the early fight where they lost all of their ASF. And yes, it seems like the Mr. Tagada is on the good road to the victory, meaning he might get his revenge for his teammate. The top position seems to have stabilized for a second, as we can see that a bunch of an Oblivion turret, or actually I say a bunch, it's actually a whole line of them, Mr. Tagada sparing no expenses in securing his position in here. We can see a bunch of engineers producing even shields to cover them, so yep. Oh no, it seems like all of the D3 gunships belonging to the South team are gonna get shot down by Tagada's air. Mr. Jack trying to go and save them with his own ASF, but it is gonna be nothing more but a big air loss for the South team. So, Tagada, what is your answer to the enemy panda cuddles? They cutely named the Galactic Colossus, which is slowly but surely walking forward, trying to go and catch the enemy units off guard, but it seems like Mr. Tagada already nearly done with his own Galactic Colossus, which is slowly rising and ready to go and deal out massive damage to the enemy forces. The GC is done and it is gonna go and start marching forward to intercept Mr. Panda Cuddles, who unfortunately have like no support. There is only a few Harbingers, but not a single T3 MAA to go and actually go and cover it. Meaning that if Tagada actually abuses his air control, he can just go and kill this guy for no cost at all. The Strat Bombers are inbound. I repeat, the T3 Strat Bombers are inbound, as we can see the shockers from Tagada slowly but surely beelining for Mr. Panda Cuddles. The drops are being dropped. And the damage have been done. So far, 10k damage taken of the enemy Galactic Colossus, not to mention a single Harbinger have also been fallen down. More drops bombed as Mr. Panda Cuddles is taking a lot of damage. And run, better run, because not only you have no air cover, but also there is a Galactic Colossus coming for your booty. So run, boy, run. And when we go and look at the unit mix for Mr. Tagada, it seems like it's looking way better, because he actually has some flags, some T3 MAA, meaning he can keep on pushing forward after killing the enemy GC. Strat Bombers getting rid of the max expansion, making sure there is nothing left but smoldering wrecks from the T2 maxes. Those were T2 maxes? Yes, those were T2 maxes. So yes, Mr. Tagada making a really good case that he can still win this fight, even though he's 1 versus 3. Let's go and take a look at the mass income. And holy hell, that is a lot of mass income. 1300 mass per second for Mr. Tagada. Meanwhile, the other team only on 800 mass per second. Hate to see it, boy. As Mr. Tagada really proving that he is the SS player and his position on the FAF Pro player tier list is really good. He's proving his worth as he's playing 1v3 and still managing to go and hold it down. A few Harbingers from Macronoob are gonna unfortunately meet their demise as they have pushed in a little bit too deep. Gonna meet up with a big force of enemy Harbingers belonging to Mr. Tagada. And as such, it seems like the push for the bottom team on the north part of the map is still not gonna work out. The snipers are trying to go and work their way down, but unfortunately the T2 artillery emplacement, the miasmas, are just enough to go and deal with them. So, what you wanna go and bring in here is most likely a few Galactic Colossus. Though, boy, the Strat Bombers are going for the enemy sniper bots. Love to see it. You just love to see the little pesky sniper bots gets abused. Oh, baby. Give me more of that beautiful juice, Mr. Tagada. Show them who's the boss. Now, looking down at the bottom part, it seems like we have actually didn't see the enemy GC dying, but it's who the hell cares, because Mr. Tagada still have his own GC and units pushing in forward. It seems like he's gonna go and kill a few T3 Nexus, and one that is nearly done. As the GC is gonna deal a lot of damage, but unfortunately for him, there is yet another one coming his way. As Mr. Jack the Plains is not gonna give up yet. As Lord Autismo is coming here for round 2. The single broadsword is also gonna go and deal a lot of damage. Or maybe not, only 100 mass killed on it and it's nearly dead. Let's go and take a look at the ASF numbers for both teams. 115 ASF for Mr. Tagada. Meanwhile, Mr. Bulinoop have 60. Yep, he actually have nearly 150 ASF for himself. Meaning that the air control is actually in the hands of the bottom team yet again, as Mr. Tagada is really slow in getting the T3 air gate up and running. We can only see what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factories making ASF for him. Meanwhile, Mr. Bulinoop already on what? 12 air factories, make it 13 if we count the HQ, not to mention Mr. Jack still making ASF on his own with what? 8 support factories in a single HQ, so yep, Mr. Tagada is really outproduced when it comes to the ASF production, but he doesn't care because he have 2 Galactic Colossus together with a T3 army pushing on the bottom side. He is mounting also a counter attack in the north position, as we can see another GC and a few Harbingers making a pull from the top position. Unfortunately, I think like a few sniper bots together with Percivals are gonna be enough to go and dissuade this counter-attack from him, meaning that he still is not capable of grabbing all of this juicy reclaim from the enemy hands. But coming back to the bottom, it seems like Mr. Lord Autismo is gonna go and try to finish the GC belonging to Tagada that's on low HP, but a good micro from Mr. Tagada is gonna go and save it, as we can see the full HP Colossus actually blocking the death ray from the enemy and tanking the damage for the Galactic Colossus on low HP, and yes, just like that, a beautiful micro coming out from Mr. Tagada, meaning that the Galactic Colossus on low HP is still gonna stay alive, only 20k HP left on it, but the Colossus in front of him is tanking all of the damage. Lukach 0173 is the another Galactic Colossus from Mr. Jack the Plains, who's coming in here. She's gonna go to kill off the enemy Colossus, but it seems like it's gonna be too far none. I repeat, it is gonna be too far none, as Mr. Tagada with beautiful micro manages to go and secure one of his Galactic Colossus to stay alive. 93,000 mass killed on the single Galactic Colossus. I repeat, 93,000 mass killed. That's a hell of a beast of a Colossus. The other one on 35k mass killed, meaning that this Colossi already paid off long time ago. Although it seems like the broadswords are gonna be here to go and mop up, as Mr. Jagged Appliance is gonna get sniped, but hit another Galactic Colossus coming in here for Mr. Tagada. 110 mass killed. 110,000 mass killed on the Galactic Colossus. Holy moly, that's a one hell of a Galactic boy. That's an absolute beast. This boy here. This dude is just a massive unit, a massive gorilla. Oh boy. I have no words at all for this push from Tagada. This boy alone. Just give him a Medal of Honor, just make a tombstone in his name. Give him a name, don't let him die nameless, because this dude was a real unit. Rest in peace. We will forever remember you, boy. You are gonna be remembered. Hats off. That's all I can say. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the amount of damage done by the other Galactic Colossus. 40k damage by this one. No on this, and just a 2k on this one here. with the only unit being killed by it being the enemy AC. You hate to see it, right? It seems like Mr. Bullinop is still not giving up the control over the south position, as we can see the broadswords coming in here to go and clean down the little forward base belonging to Tagada. There was a few summer placements belonging to him, but they are gonna be not enough to withstand this big army of broadswords. Meanwhile, on the top part, it seems like there is a Galactic Colossus from Macronub and 3 Galactic Colossi. No, make it 2. There is 2 Galactic Colossi in here. So even though Mr. Tagada have 1 more, it is still not gonna be enough to go and crash the enemy units belonging to Mr. Macronub. As such, it is still gonna be a stalemate in here, but thankfully it seems like Mr. Tagada is capable of grabbing the reclaim here. As we can see on the south, the broadsword attack is still in full swing, as they're gonna clean up even more of the bases belonging, more of the factories that belong to Mr. Tagada. Is he gonna take the airfight or not? Let's go and take a look at how much ASF we have. 230 ASF for Mr. Bullinov. Meanwhile, Mr. Tagada, he have 170 ASF on his own. No, no, Bully, no, no, no! Please, move your ASF! Oh no, holy hell, it seems like all of the broadswords are gonna die, as Mr. Tagada is gonna use this chance to go and clean up the air from the pesky gunships belonging to Mr. Bullinov. Here come the ASF belonging to Mr. Bully, as Mr. Tagada is gonna get forced to take the air fight. Here comes the ASF fighter. It seems like Mr. Tagada is really have a bad micro, or actually never mind, he's just luring the enemy ASF to the fight over the SAM and the T3 MAA belonging to his land army. He is still gonna go and lose all of his ASF, as the air fight is gonna get simply cleaned up by the massive air force belonging to the south tier. As such, the air control will go to the bottom tier. But what is air control when you have the Galactic Boys coming your way? And oh boy, 4 Galactic Colossi, that is a force to be reckoned with. Not to mention, just look at all of these Redeemers. Look at this Cyberman flag in here, coming to go and support the push. Meaning that this is gonna be really hard not to go and crack for the Mr. Bully.
Strategic launch detected.
We have a nuke being launched by Mr. Macronub, as we will see it flying in the air, but where is it going? It is gonna go for the air grid belonging to Mr. Tagada. A really good choice, if you ask me. A really good one. Because now the air control will be firmly in the hands of the bottom team. The question is, can they go and stop this push here happening on the south? The air grid is gonna go poof up in flames. As we can see, the nuke actually connecting. The T2 transport is gonna go and get shot down, as the nuclear missile slowly but surely fizzles out, as everything is disintegrating. The air grid is no more. The air grid have been killed off. I repeat, no more air units for Mr. Tagada. But who cares about air units when you have these bad boys coming your way? The T3 broadswords are gonna go and try to finish off the enemy T3 MAA, but a single salvo from them is gonna go and finish off 4 of the broadsword, another salvo being fired. As, oh my goodness, another 3 broadswords shot down from the sky. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it, because there is nothing Mr. Bully can go and do to stop the enemy march here. The fat boys from Mr. Bullinov are opening the fire, so you can see them opening the fire, but are they gonna be enough to go and stop the 4 Galactic Colossus from killing off the enemy air grid? No, the death lasers are opening their fire. I repeat, the death lasers are on. But here comes the charge and the broadswords. They are opening fire, the lasers, the beams are in full swing, the Galactic Colossus are under the fire, but no, it seems like Mr. Bully is not focusing on killing off the enemy T3 MAA, which is just out to go and punish the sky units, the air units, as we can see them falling them one after another. One Galactic Colossus is down, I repeat, one of the Galactic Colossus have been shot down. The another one is also gonna go and kneel down, and unfortunately it is too little and too late as the wall air unit for Mr. Bully have been shot down. The chars are dropping lower and lower, one on 10k HP, on the another one on 12k. But the T3 MAA are gonna go and shot them down just fine. As we can see, first char dropping down. One of the FAF boys is also gonna go and dropping lower and lower, and he's gonna go and explode as the Galactic Colossi are still pushing in. The another char, the second one, is also gonna go and fall down, dealing a lot of crash damage to the enemy Colossi. But there are two of them still left alive. Is this over? Is this gonna be enough? The another char still being made by Mr. Bullinop and Macros. They're gonna try to go and rush it, but I don't think the char is gonna go and stop the Galactic Colossi, as we can see them pushing in onward and onward. 105,000 mass killed on this one, on the other one 82k mass killed. Oh boy, those are the beasts. The FAF boy have been actually just walked over the enemy Galactic Colossi. And what can the top team do? What can they do? Is there anything they can go and do to go and finish off the enemy Colossi? To go and grab the defeat? The victory from the jaws of the defeat? Oh no, it seems like even the top position is gonna get lost, as we can see for the Galactic Colossi from Mr. Tagada going over the three of the enemy Colossi. One of them is gonna go and kneel down, fall down and face plant straight into the ground. As Mr. Tagada is gonna go and lose only a oh boy, you hate to see it. Percival's being sucked down by the magnetic claws, as we can see, as Mr. Macronum is gonna go and control K. You hate to see it, but it seems like he already have given up, as Bullying up in here is gonna go and try to go 2-2 against the enemy Colossi. The last man standing from the from the bottom team. He's gonna go and duke it out versus the enemy Colossi. A fight to the end. He never gives up. We love to see it. But it was simply not enough, as Bulinoop is ejected as the last player for the bottom team. And holy hell, what a comeback for Tagada! He was left all alone, but he's not SS rated for nothing. He is the chat dude. He was only man left standing, but he still managed to go and grab the victory from the jaws of defeat. GG. Well played, and see ya next time.